What is up, people? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Cup Chasers for another tips and predictions video. Match week 21 was very good to me, I must say. So let's get the likes up on the video right out the rip. Subscribe if you are new. Of course, thanks for being here. I do want to know your thoughts and your predictions in the comments below as well. But first, let's take a look back at the results from the past few days. Always remember, you do not have to structure your bets the same way I do. And of course, have an eye on the lineups and gamble responsibly out there, people, of course. So here we go. Oh, I'm so upset right here down at the very bottom. Madrid have just allowed Celta Vigo to tie them in the end. I was seconds away from winning this one as well and having an absolute perfect week in the Prem. I did get the Ipswich and Man U parts correct here in this one. And here you go. You look at the Premier League on the 15th. And the 14th, I got a lot of this right, too. Only Fulham lost to West Ham was the only one that got me. Did all right in Italy on Tuesday. And then, of course, oh, my goodness, Madrid still, I'm gutted. I'm gutted there. I don't know about that Pontevedra Getafe game. I've always said don't do the cups in the other countries because I'm not so sure. And then I went against my own advice here for the Madrid game. And of course, we lost the bet. Oh, gross. But we're doing really, really good here. Did really good in the Prem this week as well. All righty. There you have it. Definitely did have decent the past couple days, but we're moving right along into match week 22 for some spicy matchups this weekend. Going to be a good one. First up, Newcastle hosting Bournemouth. Newcastle are on an absolute tear right now. Goals left and right. Isak on 8 straight games with a goal. They are the home side where they have and will continue to be very tough to beat. The Cherries' form is nothing to balk at, either unbeaten in 10, 6 wins, 4 draws in all competitions. They will put up a strong fight in this one with the confidence riding very high. This will be a back-and-forth game. Cherries letting Newcastle have the ball, as is their way, and countering quickly. Isak to score is obviously not a bad bet on the current run. Safest to bet 1+ shots on target, though. If you are feeling froggy, Isak to score is likely. Gordon has been reigning in the shots as well. We're also looking at Ouattara and Semenyo for Bournemouth. And Ryan Christie has been getting in some duels, some fouls, maybe some tackles as well if we're feeling froggy. It's going to be tough to call the money line. Despite leaning the way of Newcastle, there will be goals, which makes your safe bet both teams to score and Isak to have 1+ shot on target. Your feeling froggy bet will be the both teams to score. Newcastle money line, Isak to score, Gordon to get shots, Ouattara to get shots, and Semenyo to get shots. Any combo of those is going to be just fine. Moving right along, the Bees hosting Liverpool in a massive game. The league leaders go into the G-Tech in another massive fixture at the top. Brentford are mean at home and will be bolstered by the inspired comeback against the champions last time out. This will be a stern test for Liverpool. Hopium says the Bees might do something for me, but my gut says Pool will edge it. Brentford in so-so form at home, but Wissa and Mbeumo are having strong seasons in front of goals, so look for them to get the shots in for the Bees. As always, you want to wait for the Liverpool lineup. You never know if Jota or Diaz is going to start in the 9. Whoever does, whichever one of them will definitely have a shot on target. Salah to have shots is also nailed on, and Gakpo loves that cut-in and shooting, so expect more of this against the Bees. It will definitely be an open and entertaining game with lots of goals in it. My heart is saying steer clear of the money line on this one, but Pool need to get it done to avoid slipping further in the race. Safe bet. Both teams to score, and your feeling froggy bet is going to be both teams to score. The Liverpool money line, Mbeumo and Wissa to have shots on target or shots in general. Salah and Gakpo to have the shots in general, and Diaz/Jota to get a shot on target. Up next, Leicester City hosting Fulham. Fulham are an intriguing outfit this season with a number of impressive results against sides higher in the table. Thus, my knee jerk is to say Fulham will win the game. The Foxes have lost 6 straight in the league, albeit against the likes of Newcastle, Liverpool, City, and Villa, but also Wolves. So they are reaching desperation station for Ruud van Nistelrooy. This one might have a bit of a back and forth to it, but I just can't see Vardy and the gang getting it over the line. They simply don't score enough to keep up with their poor defense, but Vardy is good for at least 1 shot, maybe even 2. We're looking at Raul Jimenez to have a shot on target, and Harry Wilson has been popping up with a lot of shots as well. Iwobi and Pereira can get shots in, but Iwobi's been letting me down recently, so we might stay away from him on this one. Always remember to have an eye on the lineups. Your safe bet here is the Fulham money line, and your feeling froggy bet is going to be the Fulham money line. Jamie Vardy to get the shots, Jimenez to have 1+ shot on target, and Harry Wilson to have some shots. Alrighty, West Ham hosting Crystal Palace. West Ham remarkably have shot up to 12th place somehow with the Graham Potter bounce against Fulham last time out at home. It looks like Harry's uncle have them pushing a bit higher up the pitch, which give them more impetus going forward as well. The third goal was because Leno was pressured into a mistake, so expect more of the same against Crystal Palace. Palace do look resolute, and they looked resolute against the Foxes last time out, and Mateta, Eze, and Sarr are all in a good vein of form at the moment. They will be your offensive leaders for Palace once again. Lucas Paquetá seemed to be the farthest man forward in a false 9 type role last time out, which I expect to continue unless Ings starts in his stead and Paquetá drops in a little bit deeper instead of Souček, who was a surprise in the center attacking mid role. Definitely want to wait for lineups on this one, but look to Paquetá for shots for the Hammers. Kudos if you're feeling froggy. West Ham have only failed to score once in 11 games, and Fulham have the offensive output going for them as well. So your safe bet is both teams to score. Your feeling froggy bet is going to be both teams to score the Paquetá shots and Kudos to have some shots. Arsenal hosting Aston Villa, massive bout near the top of the table. With Poole at the Bees, this could be a big opportunity not only for some Gunners' revenge from last season, but also to gain more ground this. Not to mention having Unai Emery back at the Emirates. The Gunners will be boosted by the win in the North London derby, but the performance did not change much for Arteta's men. Meanwhile, Villa edged Everton in a tight one at Goodison. There will be space on the break in this one for the likes of Watkins, Rodgers, and Duran, and they will have the chances for Villa. You'll want to wait for lineups, of course, on both sides because you never can tell what Arteta will do, but I expect Havertz down the middle where he should record at least 1 shot. I would not bet him to get it on target, but he does tend to hit them in the general vicinity. I doubt anything changes in Arteta's mind with this one, and the first goal will be vital. That being said, I just don't see a high-scoring game anytime Arsenal takes the field these days, so your safe bet is under 3.5. Your feeling froggy bet will be Havertz shots, Watkins to get a shot on target, Duran to get a shot on target, and Rodgers to have some shots. Alrighty, Everton hosting the Tottenham Hotspur. And this one is interesting more so than it might have been if Dyche was still around. It looks like Moyes had the Toffees a bit higher up the field in the press versus Villa than we're used to from Everton this season. Watkins had far more space than I expected. Therefore, I expect something similar versus Spurs, especially since Calvert-Lewin will look to get in behind the high line. Solanke will most likely get at least 1 shot on target. Gotta wait for lineups, of course, from Big Ange, because you never know what he's going to do, but also back Kulusevski to have shots. Calvert-Lewin on the other side for the shots, maybe even Idrissa Gueye, who had a number of shots against Villa. Decore also likes to get high up the pitch for them as well. This one is kind of tough to call. My knee-jerk is to bet the under when Everton are involved, but with Moyes back at the helm and his quotes about needing more offensive production makes me less certain. Therefore, our safe bet in this one, we're still going to go with the under 3.5. Your feeling froggy bet is the Calvert-Lewin shots, Solanke shots, and Kulusevski shots. Man United hosting Brighton at Old Trafford. United will be absolutely pumped after the late comeback win against the Saints, and we'll hope they perform much better at home in this one. Brighton will definitely punish them far more ruthlessly than Southampton did should they afford the goals as many chances. There's always space and opportunities against Brighton, so both teams to score is nailed on in this one. Should be an entertaining game. I keep harping on it, but we got to wait for the lineups because Amram is still mixing and matching and finding the right lineup, so be aware that Amad Diallo shots are nailed on if he starts. Bruno Fernandes does usually start, so his shots are something you're going to want to bet. And on the other side, we're looking at Matoma and João Pedro to have some looks in on goal as well. So your safe bet is going to be both teams to score. Your feeling froggy bet will be both teams to score. Bruno to get the shots, Diallo to get the shots, Matoma to get the shots, and Pedro to get some shots. Nottingham Forest hosting Southampton. Forest will win the game. They're flying high at the moment and will have far too much for the Saints. It's interesting to see how much of the ball they're going to give to Southampton. It's not going to be a typical game for Forest, but I expect them to pull it out and continue their excellent season. The Saints will be encouraged by their performance at Old Trafford despite blowing it in the end, but I don't think Forest is going to give them as much space as United did. So I doubt they will be able to do as much with the ball. Only in transition will they get any joy. Chris Wood is going to continue his fine form in front of goal. Definitely a good bet. Tyler Dibbling could be worth a shot or two as well. Anthony Alenga and Hudson-Odoi are having a good season, so they might get some shots. But Forest will definitely win this one comfortably. We're going safe bet, Forest money line. Feeling froggy bet, Forest money line. Chris Wood shot on target or anytime goal scorer. Tyler Dibbling should get some shots, Alenga shots, and Hudson-Odoi with the shots. Up next, Ipswich hosting the champions. It's another interesting fixture with City still underperforming their ridiculously high standards. They have gone ahead and given leads away time and again so far this season, but I'm unsure if Ipswich will have the comeback power that the Bees wielded in the week. The blueprint is obvious. It will be very similar to most Ipswich and Man City games where Pepsman will have a lot of the ball and the Tractor Boys will look to counter on the break. Liam Delap is nailed on for a shot on target nearly every game, and you can expect that Haaland will have one on target or multiple shots in general. The under is never a bad bet in an Ipswich game, as per their defensive style, but City are always capable of wrecking shop on teams. So your safe bet is going to be the City money line. They will have way too much for Ipswich. And your feeling froggy bet is the City money line under 3.5. Haaland shots or a shot on target. Delap shots or a shot on target. Last but not least, in the Premier League on Monday, it's Chelsea hosting Wolves at Stamford Bridge. This is an intriguing one where you would think that Chelsea should walk, but we have to take a closer look. Matheus Cunha will be back in the starting lineup and will be raring to go. And Chelsea have just 3 points from the last 15 in the league. Definitely struggling at the moment. Gonzalo Guedes has been raining shots in from the Wolves' right-hand side, and Hwang Hee-chan is having a run in the team as well. I would go with Cunha shots and Guedes shots for Wolves. Obviously, Palmer's going to get a shot on target, maybe even a goal if you're feeling froggy. Nicholas Jackson, if he starts, will get some shots in. But remember to have an eye on the lineups. I'm definitely not so sure of the money line on this one. Only if you're feeling froggy do you bet the Chelsea money line. But that's going to make your safe bet. Palmer, one shot on target. Cunha to have some shots. Guedes to get some shots. And Nico Jackson to get some shots. Your feeling froggy bet is going to be all of those, in addition to the Chelsea money line, maybe even Cole Palmer to score. All righty, lots and lots of action elsewhere in Europe as well this weekend. We'll start with a Friday bet. You know we love a Friday bet. Eintracht Frankfurt is hosting Dortmund. Both teams are definitely going to score in that one. Monaco's going to win away to Montpellier in France. And Lille versus Nice is very intriguing. Nice are marginally better, but Lille have one of the best defenses in the league. It's going to be spicy. My money is on both teams to score. Nice money line if you're feeling really, really froggy. And then in Portugal, Benfica is hosting Famalicão, and Benfica will win the game. Moving on into the rest of the weekend in Spain, let's go. Madrid is going to beat Leganés. Barcelona will beat Getafe, and Real Madrid will beat Las Palmas. Over in Germany, Bayern is going to beat Wolfsburg. Stuttgart and Freiburg is going to be a spicy matchup. Lots of goals. Both teams to score is nailed on. Leipzig should definitely beat Bochum, and Leverkusen definitely going to get the win at home to Mönchengladbach. In Italy, Bologna should beat Monza at home if you're feeling really froggy. That's going to be a tough one. Maybe even go with the under. Juventus is hosting Milan. There will be goals, both teams to score. Atalanta hosting Napoli. There will be goals, both teams to score. Lazio should beat Verona. Lazio haven't been awesome of late, but Verona are not great if you're feeling froggy. Inter should beat Empoli. And Como versus Udinese will be a low-scoring affair, under 3.5. Once in the last 5 games have either team had a game go over 3 goals, so that's good there. In France, PSG are still undefeated in Liga and will continue this record versus Lens. Brest at Stade Rennais will have goals. You're doing both teams to score. Lyon versus Toulouse should have goals as well. Lyon money line should hit. Both teams to score if you're feeling froggy. And Marseille is going to best Strasbourg at home. In the Netherlands, PSV is going to beat Zwolle. Utrecht hosting Alkmaar will be spicy. There's going to be goals, both teams to score. Feyenoord are away to Willem's second. They're going to win. Feyenoord money line. And Ajax are definitely going to beat Heerenveen away. In Portugal, Lisbon over Rio Ave should definitely be a sporting win. Braga should win away at Estrella, but could be tough. We're going to do the money line if you're feeling froggy. And Porto will defeat Gil Vicente away. Well, there you have it, folks. That is the tips and predictions for match week 22 in the Premier League and around the leagues. Always remember to have an eye on those lineups, people. Of course, you never know what the coaches are going to do. Could change things dramatically, so make sure you're paying attention there before you make your wagers. Also, of course, you do not have to group things the same way I do. Always remember these tips are for you to use however you see fit. And gamble responsibly out there, people. Of course, you want to do that. So let's get the likes up on the video for another crazy weekend. Let's go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Of course, thanks for being here. Let me know what you think about the predictions and the tips in the comments below. I want to hear your thoughts. Crunke out, and so am I.